Hey, what's going on? This is Terrence and Jill.
Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Y'all coming on?
Yes, how's it going for everybody? We hope y'all had a great summer. We've been chilling.
Yep.
And we promised you last week when we finally come back that we was going to have a guest for you. But before we get to that, we just want to introduce you to who we are. This is Terrence and Jill. We are here to just tell our story. We've been married a little bit over a year, and
y'all know us. We ain't here to give relationship advice. Our guests will, but we don't. We still learning.
But we got a treat for you.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
I met this couple through my wife, and I'm telling you
you met them at our wedding.
Through you.
I know.
Then what you correcting me for?
I know, I'm just saying, but we met at the wedding. That's
see what I go through?
We met at the wedding.
But yes, I met them through her. And I'm telling you, it's been a blessing.
Yes, y'all.
It's been a blessing.
Y'all, let me tell y'all real quick before we bring them on. First of all, please subscribe if y'all have not subscribed. Yes. If you have any questions throughout the night, please drop your questions. If you need prayer or you need us to agree with you on prayer with anything, you can always email us at terrenceandjill@gmail.com. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. We hardly on Instagram, but follow us on TikTok, on Instagram. Subscribe, share.
Yeah.
What else?
Tell other people.
Yes. Hey y'all.
And by the end of this live, we're going to also share the links that you can follow this guest that we have.
Yes.
Because you're going to want to after tonight.
Hey y'all, whoever's coming on, drop where you coming from.
Yes.
Drop who it is. Yes. Hey y'all.
So we just excited to just hear what they got to say.
Yep.
You know, like she said, put your questions in there. They definitely don't have a problem answering questions. I'm going to put my questions in there, and I don't even have any written down. I just know that this is going to be so generic and so live and so heartfelt that the questions are going to come as they speak and deliver their message.
Yes, y'all going to be blessed. So really quickly, let me just give you an informal, formal introduction of who they are. So I met Dianeda in 2012. We were referred to each other because Dianeda has a nonprofit. Y'all know I'm a nonprofit consultant, or was a nonprofit consultant. She was my client, and just how God does, client became a sisterhood. And like now, like it's been my dream to have couple friends, and so we're blessed to be couple friends with them. And so this couple, let me tell y'all something. They don't get no realer than this. All right. They don't come no realer than this. And so they from my hometown in Maryland. And so yes, I definitely want y'all to follow them, all that good stuff. I don't know why I act like I'm nervous. But I'm gonna just bring them up. All right. So I'll before I say too much. So let me bring them up and we'll go from there.
Hello. Good evening.
Jill, thank you for that introduction. Listen, I'm over here smiling and I'm just filled with joy because this day has truly came where we could sit on a platform like this with you, Jill, and your husband.
Isn't that crazy?
Listen,
is that crazy?
Listen, I don't think they really understand. Like, we prayed for this. Not to this magnitude of being on this platform, but we prayed for your husband. Listen, we touched and agreed. We cried.
Yes.
Listen.
And that's what I said. It's good for y'all.
Yes,
y'all have to have some good friends in your life.
Listen, right before COVID, but before we get into everything, I'm gonna touch on that. I'm Dianeda. This is my husband.
I'm Tarik.
Yes. And we have been married for 23 years. Woo.
Yeah.
23 years, y'all. That's 23 long years. But I wanted to start with the introduction. But listen, Jill, right before COVID, we prayed, and I never forget this. We were in New York.
Yep.
February.
My 50th birthday.
Yes, your birthday. COVID hit in March, and we prayed over you something. Remember, we was in that room. We prayed. We cried.
Girl.
Dianeda came home talking about that. I was like, man, y'all had a time up there.
Yes.
Now look at all of this to come to fruition, y'all. So I'm just excited about this. I'm excited that you thought of us to just, be in the company of y'all platform to share. With your friends and all. And so we're excited. Anytime God give us a chance to
share our experience, share where we come from, share our marriage with each other, share our relationship with God.
Yes,
we're open for it.
Yes, we're open for it. So as Jill said and stated, we welcome all of the questions.
All the questions.
No question is off, limits or whatever. So we're going to start off. I'm gonna let my husband start off and kind of just go into the intro of how we met.
I'm gonna tell y'all how she chased me. I'm gonna tell y'all how she chased me.
God.
So we met 27 years ago. We met 27 years ago. We both grew up in Washington, D.C. And we met in the alley. Yeah, it was like in the alley. It was the hangout spot.
Yes.
And so I was 20. Wow. I was 20 and she was 19.
Yeah.
And I was with a couple of my friends and she was getting out the car.
Wait a minute, pause. I was 9 months pregnant. She was 9 months pregnant.
She was 9 months pregnant.
I know the story, but I'm still
tell your story.
I was 9 months pregnant.
And she was getting out of the car and we just made eye contact. I don't know, we always say, like, it's a cliche-ish thing, but for us, we always say it was literally love at first sight. Because the minute we made eye contact, we couldn't take our eyes off each other. And my friends must have seen her looking at me or me looking at her, because a few of them turned around and was like, nah, dog, you can't do nothing with that. And so it was just like, yeah, okay. All right. Okay. And so we have her sister. It's funny because I knew her sister and her mom before I even met her.
Wow.
And so we had her sister's kid's father. She went back to him and asked him who I was.
There's two sides to every story. Listen, Terrence, it's two sides to every story. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I was like, who was? And he was like, oh yeah, he asked me about you too. So it was like we both asked about each other, like who was that and who was that. And from that day, he introduced us. Yeah. And I'm going to say, from that day of him introducing us, we have been inseparable.
Wow.
Inseparable.
27 years ago.
27 years ago. And so that's where our journey began. And I'm going to be honest with you. We didn't know. I know it was love at first sight, but we didn't know.
We didn't know what love was. We didn't know what, being in a relationship was. We didn't know left from right, probably, really, especially when it came to being with being a couple.
Yes.
We at that age, you just know that somebody looks good and you know what you want to do.
Right. And so even at that moment, I was coming out of a relationship. And I always say that God sent my guardian angel, because the relationship I was in was very abusive and I didn't know which way to go. And when I met him, I knew that instantly that there was God. There was a God. And I knew God was real because I prayed. And I didn't understand this until years later, that my prayers was being answered. Yeah,
wow.
You got to really hear me on this. Like, I used to pray, God, send me someone, shield, protect me. I didn't really know if my prayer was getting answered or not. I really didn't know that. I really didn't know if my relationship with God was real, because I wasn't in that arena. I knew God, but I didn't really know. Okay, I know I see my father pray, my grandmother, you see all this, but until I really had to step into this arena and I saw the manifestation, and I'm like, okay, because it was literally like God just sent him. It was like, he's going to protect you. He's going to shield you. He's going to cover you. He's going to gird you up. All of those things. And I didn't know that until years later, right? And so getting into relationships. Okay, go ahead. Because y'all, it gets good.
Yeah.
It is good. I know the story, and it still get good every time I hear it.
And so one of the things that when I can say I knew she was for me was I never stopped, regardless, even her being in that abusive relationship, I never stopped pursuing her, looking out for her, making sure she was all right. Even in situations where my life could have been put on the line and was put on the line,
yes.
That didn't stop me or have me turn my back on her and say, you know what, I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time to deal with this, because like I said, it was literal love at first sight. And I guess it was one of those things the same way with her, because I didn't quite understand what a relationship with God was. I knew I had one, but didn't quite understand it to the capacity. Of course, I know now, but I knew that he had me, even through before I met her, all the things that I went through. And for me to still be able to meet her, I knew he had me. I knew I was one of God's childs, one of God's kids. And so I always just knew, even if she would always had this thing where she would tell people, oh, he's just my friend, he's just my friend,
yes.
And it would just be like, okay. And everybody, her whole family was like, yeah, okay, Nita, da-da-da, yeah, okay. But he's just my friend. And I think that is one of the things that was able to solidify our relationship, because we were literal friends, like best friends, through, even before we got married, before I proposed, we were real friends.
Yes, we can talk about anything. Our conversations was really open. We shared everything, together. And
early on, our thing was crab legs and beer. So we would sit and have crab legs and beer and talk for hours. Talk for hours.
And didn't realize the time and everything. It was just so. Our first date.
Okay.
Our first date was crab legs and a 40 ounce. I ain't lying. Don't judge us.
Yeah.
That was after you had the baby.
That was after she had the baby. Yes, after she had the baby. Yes.
Okay.
Because I was 9 months. I
Right.
probably delivered literally like 2 weeks after.
Yeah, about 2 weeks after we met. Yes.
Yes. Listen,
So how did y'all transition from friends to you getting out of that abusive relationship to like being a couple?
The moment where I knew that I had to, it was very traumatic, Jill. So it was very, very traumatic. It was a moment where Todd and we were at my mom's house, and this particular person found out where we were because I was trying to get away from him. Right. He found out where we were, and I had came home from school. Because mind you, I said we share everything. I had just started dental school because of Tarik. He pushed me. We pushed each other. It was like, listen, what are we doing? We didn't have no goals of what we wanted to do together, for us building up to a marriage or anything. It was more so, I see this in you. And he was like, I see this in you. You can do this. And I'm like, you can do this. Right. And it just, everything just came because we allowed it to be organic. But that moment that really, everything just really changed was when I was laying on the bed and Todd was massaging my back. And all I remember is a scream. And I turned around and I saw this particular person just doing this, and he was stabbing Todd. And I got frantic. I jumped up, and Todd ran outside, and I ran behind him. And my sister's friend who introduced us saw him running down the street, didn't know that he was stabbed, and took him to the emergency room where, again, I know I have a relationship with God. I began to pray. I was on my mother's bathroom floor, and I would never forget this. I was praying, and I was welling, and I was crying, and I was like, why? Because I didn't know all what really happened. And then when I found out and I saw him like a day or two later, he had stab marks all over. I was like, oh my God. At that moment, I think it clicked and God said, I gave you a second chance. This is it. This is it. And so I think we started to, I'm not going to say appreciate each other because we always appreciate each other, but it was more, it became serious.
Okay.
Right. It became serious. Like, you know what? I value who you are as a person and vice versa. And we just begin to, it just happened.
It just kind of happened.
It just happened.
Since one of them looked at each other and said, "You my girlfriend and I'm your boyfriend now."
It just happened. We didn't even really have that transition.
Right. That conversation and say, "This is what
we didn't either." Right.
It was just organic. It was like I said, it was just kind of always there. And like I said, that moment probably, like I said, even for me, was like I said before, with everything that we went through, it's still nothing to me. Nothing said to me. God didn't say to me like, leave that alone, leave her alone. That's not a safe thing for God. It was, I could always hear in every situation, whether it was from me or from her, it was like, it was just always God. I could hear God's voice in the back of my mind. Like, there's more, there's greater, this isn't it. This is minute, this is nothing compared to what I have in store for you.
Yeah.
But what was it that you saw?
What I saw in her, I saw somebody that was strong, somebody that was very intelligent. First, I saw that she was very beautiful. I saw love. I saw how nurturing she is. I saw her heart. I feel like I literally like, and it's not a cliche. I really felt like I could see her whole being of who she was, and I felt like it was more than what she was getting, and I felt like I can give her more. I felt like there was more that I can show her.
Mind you, Jill, we didn't have 2 pennies in the pot.
Yeah.
Listen, no, seriously, we didn't have 2 pennies in the pot. I was having a kid, finished school, going on to dental school, living with my mom, sleeping on my mom's floor. And we had just decided, like, it's just so funny when we look back and we tell this story. It's like we didn't have all of these big dreams and big hopes.
Written down goals and vision boards and stuff like that. We just knew
that we loved each other. That's it. We just knew that we wanted to be together. However that was going to happen. I talked him up. I spoke life into him. Like, listen, what are you doing? This is that, and vice versa. Like, wow. We didn't sit down and write goals. We didn't have that. We started off with pure friendship. Our foundation was friendship and love. Wow. That's it. It was no expectations.
Right.
Like,
y'all better say it.
If there was no expectations, well, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to have this
lined up. You got to have an
and Jill, let me
credit
tell
score
you
and this
something.
and that. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The men was coming. My family was trying to set me up with all these type of men with ball players or whatever. And I said, I don't want them. I want him. They was like, he don't have nothing to offer you. I said, yes, he do. I said, we're going to do this together. Whatever we have, we're going to build together. I don't want that already made up and all that. No, I want to start this with my husband together. But I didn't know he was my husband.
She knew.
I didn't know that. And so go back to that. How even did that happen? We didn't date. We dated each other, but it wasn't saying we was dating. It just happened organically, right? And so one day we had a disagreement. We have disagreements, right?
We had a serious disagreement, and I was around Chesapeake.
Yes.
I think I was around Chesapeake. So the area that we grew up in was Martin Luther King and Chesapeake, Atlantic Street area, that southwest area. And so we had a disagreement, and it was in that moment again where, like I said, I knew that she was going to be my wife. So I had a bike at this time.
Yes.
I got on my bike bro.
Wait a minute, a motorcycle bike.
No, a bike.
No, Gio.
Like a bike, a mountain bike.
Oh,
My man. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
mountain
about right
bike.
there.
I got on that mountain bike and rode from South Capitol Street to Forestville Mall, Border Ring, and she was at her family's house in Forest Creek. Rode the bike over to Forest Creek, took her into the room, into one of the bedrooms, and got on my knee and proposed to her.
Yes.
My man.
Yes.
Listen.
Now, how old were y'all? How old?
I was 20.
20. Yeah, she was 20. No, 22. 22. I was 22. She was 21.
Yeah. I was 21, right? Yeah. And listen, I said no. And I said no.
Yeah.
And my aunts and them said, you crazy.
Yeah.
You better say, yeah, you crazy. I said no. I said no. No. And so what he did was he got real crafty, y'all. That's what he did. He waited till my aunt who raised me.
Oh,
she had a
yeah.
birthday party and all of my family was there. My dad, everybody was there. And they made him propose to me again.
Yeah.
In front of
the whole family. Yeah.
Mind you, we didn't know what love. We knew that we loved each other, but we really didn't understand what love is, because at first at that age, it's not really, it's love, but it's like, what is it called? And it's more of a fetish.
A fetish. Okay.
You know, like a fetish, like, okay, infatuation, yes. And a fetish, like, okay, yes, this is that. We didn't know that. So we had to learn this. I had to learn what to say. I had to learn what not to say. And that didn't happen overnight, right? That happened over time. Like, I'm serious. Our years of marriage, we had to make a choice.
And just like her saying she had to learn what to say, I had to learn how to lead. You know, because I had to learn how to love, like, again, because she was, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of girlfriends, relationships. That wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thing. And so I can say, well, she probably was my second, like, real relationship. And so, like, again, I had to learn, how to compromise. I had to learn how to step up. I had to learn how to
and mind you, we had 2 kids. I had one before I met him, and I met him pregnant. He had no kids, so he didn't know how to be a father. Oh my God. He had to learn. I didn't know how to be a mom. I was young. I was a teenage mom. And so this is the choices that we decided to make, to come together to make this work, because we knew that we loved each other. Regardless, no matter what the circumstances or whatever, it's like we made up in our mind that if we're going to spend this life together, we're going to do it together, right? No matter what comes our way, what is thrown at us and all. And we've had some heavy things thrown at us, right? And with Tarik meeting me at that age, like, I was young. I left home when I was 14. And so I was very independent. You couldn't do nothing for me. Like, I was independent. I didn't want him to do nothing for me. I did all of this. I did that, but I had to learn in this to take some step backs and allow him to help me and navigate so it could be better, right? And to relieve some of the stress off my shoulders and all. But that was hard. That was hard.
I'm going now.
Yes, but God has a way of doing that and sitting you down for you to understand. And I call it the lowly bar. He took me there, and I never really knew that I can go back after climbing up these steps. And he's like, no, I'm going to take you down so you can be equally yoked with your husband and understand this from this ground. Even though we build everything together, but building that together, I still had that Judas spirit.
Okay.
Right, where I had to take some steps back, because that's not what God wants. As a wife, you allow your husband to step in. And I don't want to use the word lead. You allow him for y'all to come together, because you can't take the step before him. Y'all have to take it together. Taking that step before him, you out of order. If you go together, you're in unison, that's fine. right? We can do that. But I was always taking the steps before him. I went and put a contract on the house and came back and told him, I just signed a contract on $1 million house. We moved. No, seriously, $1 million.
Yeah.
Yes. And he looked at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's what we doing. And after I kind of feel bad now, years past, we hear, but I understand now as a woman, like, dang, that was so immature of me. It was so immature. Why? Because I wanted what I wanted to fulfill what I said. Okay, we work hard for this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this, but not taking into account of us doing it together to get his perspective. Why this probably wasn't a good move right now. Why we going to do this at this time? So we have been through the ringer of things, but it was great. I love if somebody say, Nita, what would you do to change anything that y'all did or y'all marriage? I would say nothing.
So
go ahead.
So let me ask you. So y'all got married, and if I remember the story correctly, y'all got married in a Catholic church.
Yes.
So y'all got married. How did y'all transition to ministers and ministers of the gospel, and like what was that?
Well, that was kind of easy because it wasn't. I thought it was fairly easy. I thought it was easy because I just looked at the building as a place that we got married in. Like it wasn't. It's still God's house, but it's just a building that we got married in. And so, as being Christian, because I was brought up Christian, built up in the Baptist church.
Okay.
I really didn't, and I didn't understand my relationship with God because the church I went to was right there in the hood, and so I didn't spend a lot of time in the church. I would go, my mom would make me go to church, and so just getting married in the building really wasn't, a big deal. I didn't really look at it as, getting married in God's house at that time.
Okay.
So for me, it was kind of easy to transition to Christianity, and start walking and understand. I think it was the longer we were married and the more things we went through really strengthened my relationship or our relationship with God. Because, it humbled us for one. It taught us the spirit of forgiveness. It taught us the spirit of compromise. It taught us the spirit of understanding, the spirit of, for me, the spirit of leadership, the spirit of correction, the spirit of discernment. To have an understanding and getting into or back into the faith, really, and again, the longer we were married, really allowed us to understand what that really was about. And so the transition, we had, after we got married, it wasn't like we were really just going to church. We were the church. So shout out to our bishop, Bishop Vance O's. Y'all might know him as the skating bishop. That's our bishop. We were invited to that church.
But wait, it was hard. Let me say why it was hard for me.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Because I was brought up Catholic, right? And so even though, we believe in the Trinity and Hail Mary and all of that.
And I was brought, it was funny because I was raised in the private school my whole life. Up until 10th grade, 11th grade.
Right.
So I understood the Catholic faith. I understood what it was about.
So that's why that was easy for him to go into there, because he understood, right? So my priest said, you just have to get married here. And we're going to allow you, like, it's okay if you transition to Baptist, whatever. And so for me, that's all I knew. All my life was, the Catholic faith. I am going to every Ash Wednesday. I'm doing all of that. Ashes on my forehead. I'm doing all right. And so with us we got married. They come out. It's like, okay, we need to find a church home. So,
but that wasn't right away.
That wasn't right away.
Yeah, that wasn't right away. We had ended up visiting
a couple of
churches. And we were invited to, so I'm gonna go back to, we were invited to Arca Safety. We were invited to Arca Safety.
Okay.
with Bishop Muse.
And we joined.
C. Anthony Muse. And we joined. And there was this little preacher, little minister that used to walk around with this mug on his face. And I used to always, kind of get needed shrug, like, what's wrong with this little dude? Like, why are you always walking around looking like that? And so he ended up leaving the church. And in about a couple of months, about 2 months later, we were invited to another church, Liberty House. And when we walked through the door, we saw this same little preacher in the pulpit, and it was like, wow, like, okay. And then we sat down through the service and gave an awesome word. And I think maybe it was like twice. Was it the first time we went or the second time? Second time we went. I just got up and joined. I got up and when, he did opening the doors and welcome the new members.
And I kicked and screamed down that aisle. Because I was like, I do not want to join this. Oh my God. I really.
He had a small church. It was in his office suite. It wasn't a big Catholic church. It wasn't, the big cross in the back of the pulpit with the colorful windows. It didn't have none of that. And so, but he had an awesome word.
I ain't lying. The word was so good, but I just could not. I was like, I don't want to join this church. But when Saul got up and I was like, I gotta go. Oh my God, I gotta go. I gotta follow him. But let me tell you, this was the first time, and I'm not lying, I allowed him to lead, and he led me the best. Y'all, I'm serious. I'll do it all over again. As I kicked this
for years. How long y'all been there?
16, 17 years.
Yes. And that's where the journey, like we really, really build our foundation and our marriage. And
raised our girls.
Raised our kids in it. And like we just really, and just building
just
us.
Yeah, we were pretty much practically raised in the church, right? Because we were still young. 29 and 30. So.
Yes, and it was one of the best decisions, like I said, that we could make. And from there, we're faithful churchgoers. Wednesdays, Todd there probably every day of the week. Right? Every day of the week. And I'm working, I'm doing this. Like he just really helped us be grounded in the word, not the man of God, in the word.
Yes. That's
like really in the word. And
because mind you, he wasn't a skating bishop then.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
He was. Yeah, yep. He was just, Bishop O's.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes. He really helped and he taught us. He's a teaching
man of
God. Like he really he really
gets into the word and dissects the word, reads and studies the word. That's one of the things that, no matter what.
And so from there in our studies and all, we became the marriage over the marriage ministry. Yes. So where we poured into people, we did, seminars. We did it just so everything just happened, Jill.
Yes. So let me set this up for you because let me set this up for the audience really quickly. So some of y'all, I know Wanda has followed me for years over at the Savvy Servant. Y'all, Dianeda has a nonprofit, her and Priscilla, our other friend, they have a nonprofit. I am proud to say that their business very lucrative. And so over the years, I like to say that very much business owners. I know Tarik got a business or had a trucking company. Like when I say these are prosperous people, they're very, very prosperous. So they talk about their humble beginnings and having nothing, but I've seen them very prosperous. I know the prosperous side of them as well. But one of the things I have to say this about Dianeda is that if y'all follow her on social media, she is the most drop dead gorgeous person that you can see on any given day.
Thank you.
But when it comes to her ministering and pouring, she will pull that hair back. She's married couples. She will pull that hair back in a bun. Yes. No makeup. She will plain Jane herself down and
Mhm.
get it done. And so that's what I really love. But we cannot leave this platform without y'all pouring out some. If y'all got some questions, drop some questions. But y'all have to, one of the things y'all do well is marriage counseling and giving marriage advice and all that great stuff. So whatever y'all want to drop it.
One of the things I would like to say is, especially if you're single, keep God first. You know, if it's some brothers in the room, keep God first. You know, always keep your heart open, keep your mind open. Don't turn your heart away from God, because I always feel like marriage is an awesome institution. And when you find somebody that not just understands you, but is willing to help you understand yourself, because we all have some growing to do. We all have some areas in our lives that continuously need work.
Yes.
If you have somebody that can help you understand who you are, because we're not going to always have it together. You know, we're not going to always come to somebody gift wrapped in a box with a big pretty bow on it. You know, it's going to be a tail on the side. The bow might not come with a bow. But if you have somebody that's willing to understand you and to help you understand yourself, keep that person. You know, pour into that person, just as Dianeda said, as we poured into each other. Because I think that's one of the things that helped us. The fact that we continually poured into each other, we continually saw better, continually saw growth. You know, there was never, always look at it as if there's never a ceiling to anything that we want to or try to do. You know, there's always an opportunity, not being an opportunist, but there's always an opportunity to grow, to be better, to love more, to give more, to
Be more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's always that opportunity.
So, Jill,
yes,
you said something that you know is just me. I'm gonna go in the trenches. I'm gonna go in for God when it comes down to the covenant. When it comes down to love, we just love,
Mm-hmm.
right? We just love.
Mhm.
And marriage perspectives is just that, right?
That's right. You better show that.
Yes, marriage perspectives is something that, you know, God really talked to Tarna about, and for us to understand that this, what we have, is special. But I need you guys to show it to the world, to let them know that it's not that far, right? It's not that far. You just have to understand who you are as a person. I'm talking to the ladies, right? Listen, there's nothing like you being whole, and when your man finds you, he completes you. There's nothing like it, right? I didn't understand that's what happened. Like I said early on, I didn't know that's what God was doing. I was blinded. I could have messed this up so many times. But here's the thing, Jill. We pray. The women pray for a man. Then when God sent him, we run him away. Right? What you have to do is, when you get true to yourself and you can sincerely pray for 30 days and ask God to show you who you are, and then you work on you, he's going to come. Keep hope alive. It's there. God is not a God. He didn't put us here to live alone. He didn't, right? And so when we open up and we pray and we ask God to do these things, pray sincerely, let it down and let it go. Don't sit there until the title with and keep coming back or whatever. You got to pray. You got to pray. You got to trust and believe that it's going to happen when it's going to happen. But guess what? You got to practice now. You got to practice now, because most women be like, they ready for a husband, but when he come, you ain't ready. You selfish. You insecure. You don't know what it is to share, and you want to lead and don't know what it means to lead. Right? So all of these things, we putting all these parameters on it, and we just blocking our own self. So I'm excited to help anybody that's here listening or whatever, however we could pour into anybody, Jill, I will go in a minute. I will go in a minute. But listen, for the last 30 days, I've been posting, actually, rewind, probably
About
a month,
45 days.
a month before I did a 30-day prayer, right? And that 30-day prayer is not just for couples. You could go back on our page at Marriage Perspectives, Instagram. Marriage Perspectives. Type it in right there.
It's right there.
Oh, it's down there.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you could go on Marriage Perspectives on IG and follow the prayer. But now I'm in the 30 days of just saying, doing some changes within your marriage. It doesn't even have to be your marriage. It could be a relationship that you in, so you could see things and really see yourself in light of it. But Jill, one other thing I want to say before we go.
You got time. Say what you got to say.
And in every disagreement that Tarik and I have, I always point a finger at myself and see how I can change it. And this is how we help each other. And he pointed, instead of us saying you.
We had to get there.
Yes.
We had to get there.
But how did we get there? We did it
with right? prayer and with practice. Yes. And we did it with getting, I feel like I did it with getting tired of pointing the finger at you and really having to sit down and understand, like, what could I have done differently? What could I have said differently? Could my attitude have been differently? Could my disposition could have been differently? Could my voice been differently?
Yeah. So the reason why I said that, Jill, and I brought that up is because a lot of women get into relationships and they point out what the man is doing or not doing. But we don't take accountability and say, you know what? Okay, he may be doing that, but if I change my perspective on it and see things in a different light, I ain't saying abuse or anything like that, but I'm saying some of the smallest, silliest things, like, we hear in our counseling session, and I'm like, listen, 6 months from now, we're going to get you past it. You're going to laugh at this. You're going to be like, oh my God, did we really, really go through that? Yes. Wow. But at the moment and how we approach that is, stop saying you, and say, it's me.
Right.
It's me. Because every time God puts us in a situation, in order for us to be elevated, we got to see what did he want us to learn in that situation so we can go to the next level. Because there's levels to this. I'm telling y'all.
You always say that.
It's levels to it.
Yeah.
One level that we meet, we say, okay, we got over this, but that level gonna help us for the next level. And you really have to understand that we still learning each other. Because guess what? I'm not the same Dianeda that he met 20 something years ago. He's not the same tall, and we don't want to be the same, right? We want to grow, because anything that's growing, God is in the midst of it.
Yep.
Because God is not dead. He's always growing. He's everlasting. He's always changing. And so what we have to do is know how to come together. And people always saying they getting divorced for
irreconcilable differences.
Right. Irreconcilable differences. Yeah, because you're growing.
Because you're growing. Get it right.
That new person.
Yes. Get to know him every day. Every day we change it. I wake up some mornings, I might not like this. He wake up some mornings, he's like, oh, you used to like this. You don't like oatmeal no more? No. I right. And so
I need carbs today.
Right. And so we're forever changing. But women, I speak to your heart right now. Like we want our heart filled. We want to feel the love, and everybody deserves to be loved. Everybody. But what you have to know is how to let love in.
Because the person can be right in the midst, but they're blinded because they're literally spiritually blinded. Like you can't see the person because of, I don't know, trauma or whatever.
Yes. And that's how I felt. Like I didn't know. At that time, I had a relationship with God, but I didn't know how strong my relationship with God was. But sometimes we get so spooky in and we're like, no, God ain't talk to me this. God talked to me. Look, he didn't come out and say this is, he talked to me through his actions of us just coming together, for it's just being so simple and so easy. but we did go through things. But was those things worth me walking away? Worth him walking away? No. Listen, you got to go through things to build your character, your integrity, to grow. You're always growing. It's growing. If you ain't having these growing pains, then it's not God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not God.
Wow.
So you got to keep on. You got to keep on track to what God has placed you on. You can't deviate. Oh, you wanted this, you wanted that.
Especially
That's
if you've been
deviating.
praying for it. If you've been praying for it,
Yeah.
you know, say amen and get up and put the work in.
Ooh,
You know,
that's good. That's good.
Woo!
That's
Woo!
good.
So
Faith without works is dead.
tell me about parenthood. Y'all grandparents.
yes, parenthood has been wonderful. Being grandparents, man,
Yes.
that's
You know, we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
some. God's really blessed us, and I
Yes.
really truly believe because we've raised our kids in our household, and we didn't shield them from anything.
No.
We allow our house to be open to foster kids. We were foster parents for 16 years, and we strategically did that because we wanted our kids to understand what it is to live a lifestyle as we were, but also on the other side of people, how it could be,
Mhm.
right? And so from us doing that, it helped our kids see life from all different points and views, right? And it raised them not to be selfish. It raised them to open up, to have a caring heart, to really understand the world and understand God, right? And so I would say, like, for that, I'm really thankful and grateful that we
had the resources and the opportunity to do
that.
You know, all three of our girls are college graduate. Our youngest is in college right now.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to college.
No.
You know, we didn't go to college, and so to have, you know, three of our girls, our middle daughter, you know, a licensed accountant. Our oldest daughter is actually running the daycare, in our child care center.
Yes.
You know, our youngest is in school to be a nurse. So, I mean, like these things, like as prayers for parents, you know, we want our kids to be better than us. And so we can actually say that, you know, God is answering our prayers.
Absolutely.
God is, you know, and I feel like it's because we were faithful to each other.
Right.
You know, we were faithful to God.
Yes.
We didn't deviate from our assignment.
Yes.
Sidetrack, you know, might have
we got sidetracked.
We got sidetracked, but we didn't deviate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we understood what our assignment was. And I think our assignment was to raise our girls, you know, as parents, as the assignment as parents was to raise our girls in a godly way, you know, to show them that there's more to life than what they could be seeing.
Right.
You know, and I think one of the things that helped me in this whole situation, my parents have been married for 51 years.
Mm-hmm. I love your parents.
Yeah.
I admire them so much.
Yeah, and all of their friends have been married for 30 or 40 plus years. So, you know, even in that, having that surrounding me, and that's why I say I go back to saying, like, I felt like God had always been talking to me. And that was one of the ways I felt like God was always talking to me, because he showed me what marriage was. He showed me, you know, we have examples of what marriage could be, can be, and what it should be. And so I think that and even now we're able to incorporate a lot of those things into our marriage now.
Yes.
Using my parents as an example. And that has really elevated our marriage, maybe, you know, a lot more than where it was.
Yes. And it continues to.
And it continues to. And so to go back to our, you know, being parents. Now our oldest daughter has a boy and a girl, so I got my boy.
We just had our grandson.
There it is. Congratulations.
So sweet.
Yeah. And so, man, I love those kids. You know, I understand it now when they say, like, the grandkids can get away with so much more than what the kids do, because those little kids just got to be wrapped around their finger. I mean, it's such an awesome feeling, man.
Wow.
I praise God, thank God for it. I mean, literally every day when I see him, it's just like my heart is just filled with joy when I see him.
Wow. So what's on the horizons for the shorts?
Wow.
So right now with our ministry, our marriage ministry, Marriage Perspectives, we still do a lot of counseling, You know, we wake up, we in the midnight hours where God is speaking to us concerning, you know, marriages,
the institution,
you know, the whole institution. We are still performing ceremonies, right? We're
still counseling.
Yes.
Again, then it doesn't have to be bad counseling. It doesn't have to be bad. You know, it can be a refreshing course.
Yes.
It could be,
so is it all couples?
We haven't done individual counseling because it's both of us and we do it together. So and that's just something that God has given. He has not given us the individual counseling assignment. And Jill, let me say this. And I know you're gonna say something, right? Our counseling, God never gave us a price to put on it. And so, I see your face. He hasn't given us a price to put on it. So a lot of people we want these institutions to work.
Yes.
Right. We want it to work. This is God's principle with our perspective on it. Right. And so how can we charge for God's principle? So
and that's what marriage perspective
That's what marriage perspective
God's
is.
Principle,
our perspective. And we can't put a price tag on it, but if you want to donate, you can donate. We're not saying no dollar too small or whatever. That's fine. But we know God is blessing us. At the end of the day, that's it. As long as we continue to lead by an example with our covenant and come out here and share the goodness of the covenant with others and lift them up. That's it. Like we just did the thing for our marriage. I wanted to talk
about that. We said we're working on the third couple. Some scheduling things didn't work out, but for our 23rd anniversary, for the whole month of August, the 1st, 2nd, and it was supposed to be the 3rd week of August, we took couples out, married couples,
and just poured into them.
Took them out, treated them to dinner,
and just poured into them. And I tell you, it blessed us so much. Yeah. Oh my God. When I tell you it blessed us so much to pour into these couples and just to let them know that there is hope. Listen, like if you want this, you have a choice. Make up in your mind, this is what I want, this is how I want it, and you can do it.
And you can do it.
You know, you can do it. So
and everything is confidential.
Yes.
You know, we sit, we don't go and sit with our other couple of friends and be like, oh, man, Slim, let me tell you about this. Right. Or, let me tell you about that.
You won't even know who our couples are.
Yeah, we don't take pictures so that way and get shared on the internet or social media later on. Like, if you choose to do that, that's fine with you, but we're not going to, because, you know, I mean, like I said,
it's sacred.
It's sacred. Right. That's right. Exactly.
It's sacred. And a lot of people don't like to open up and share for whatever reason.
And a lot of men don't. Yes. You know, I think that's one of the things that has helped us with our premarital counseling and with our counseling sessions. You know, like when they see me, it's almost like and then I say to them, like, listen, it stays in this room. I'm the type of dude, like, you don't have to. No. I don't pillow talk. Like, even being an armor bearer for my bishop, like, I don't pillow talk. You know, I don't do pillow talk. You know,
hey, Terrence, I be trying to get it out of him. I be like, what you trying to talk about? What is
you better tell me. No, this way.
He don't say nothing. Listen.
Wow.
Mumbling word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a mumbling word, but I love that in us, right? That we're not like.
We're not going to gossip nobody's business.
Somebody's business.
We're going to tell you ours, and we're going to keep it raw to help you to understand. If he did it for us, he could do it for you too. Yes. So that's what, we do. But right now, for us, that's what God has us at this place where marriage perspectives, we're just sharing the goodness of what a covenant is, Jill. Like, that's it. And we're enjoying it. We having fun. We really having fun doing it.
I can tell. Y'all on social media, y'all always traveling and doing stuff.
And now that you think about it, like I said, but Bishop, if a lot of people know his story, that was one of the things he always said when he got locked up. He said he told God that if you get me out of this, I'll go around the world. I'll go around the world and tell the world about you.
He said, I'm going to skate around the world preaching and teaching the
word of God. And
that
so
was
I feel like that's what, God is doing for us. Like, God, if you just continue to bless us and keep your hands on us, we promise you we're going to go around the world teaching about marriage and the institution that he created.
Yeah.
And
because there was a time where what we went through, a marriage would have broken.
Yeah.
Right? It would have broken. God took us to that place of lowly bar. I told you about that, where I had to come all the way down, humble myself. And he said, if you want your husband and you want your marriage to work, I got to take you through this. He said it to me plain as day. And I was like shocked, because here I had worked so hard. I built all of this stuff, right? Built all this stuff up. And God came in and just said, shh.
Just same thing he did with me. He did the same
just
thing.
Like that. Took us back to that very beginning of where we met, back to sleeping on the floor with blankets at my mother's house. Right? But at this time, we was at my little sister's house.
The same sister that
we raised. And we brought into our house when she was young and raised. And he just said, you know what? I'm going to clean this out. That could have broke most married couples like that. They can't handle that because they don't understand what is taking place. It's like, no, maybe this is a sign that we got to, separate. No, that was a sign for us to do this.
Lock in.
Like this. Like, when I tell you for real, lock in. Give us 3 blankets and whatever. And we began from there to say, you know what? Ain't nothing breaking this covenant. Nothing. Take everything. You can have everything. You can't take the love away. That's it. And so, like Tal said, we at that point, it's like now, nope. We're going to go when and if God take us around the world to preach and teach his gospel on marriage.
Exactly. That's right.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God.
That's what we are.
And I ain't saying nothing because I'm not saying it because I feel the same way. If God gave us a word, he's going to bless us in other ways to make money so that we can pour out the end. So nope, I ain't going, no.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. So God is faithful.
For y'all.
Yes, he is so faithful. But we're excited for y'all journey. Yes. This is amazing, Jill and Terrence. This is when I tell you, y'all are so obedient, and I love it. I love it because most people who are only a year in, they don't think they have anything to offer people. You guys have a lot to offer. Just stay committed. Stay committed to this journey right here and keep going. Don't stop. Don't let the gas up. Keep going. We love it. We love it.
I told Terrence yesterday, I think, I said, and we've been in business. You know how we go, you and me.
Yes.
I told Terrence yesterday I at this point in my life right now, I feel more clear about my purpose than I've ever felt before.
Wow. Praise God. Praise God.
Yeah, it's levels to this. Yes. You told me that it's levels to this. It's levels to this marriage thing. It's levels to it.
It's levels. And Jill, watch. I'm serious. He's going to blow y'all mind when you're on an assignment and you understand
that assignment. Yeah, that's what's important.
It's mind blowing. Yeah. It's mind blowing. It's just like, wow. And then you start to connect. Okay, this is why this had to happen for this. And this is why this. Okay, God, I see how you connect.
And then to see those, it's funny though, because to see those same guys that told me I couldn't have her are now married and telling us that how inspirational we are to them.
Yes.
That's why you can't listen to.
That's why you can't listen to the chitter chatter. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Yes.
And if that's what you know is your prize, that's what you know that follow God's voice.
Yes. Wow. Well, this is a long time coming. I was waiting for this to happen.
I'm thankful that y'all had us.
Yes. Thank you.
So honored that y'all were one of the few that came to our wedding. Tarik flew in after his wife.
It. Yes.
You came came in, flew in Friday night. I was like, oh my God. So it was an honor to dance with you at our wedding.
Yeah.
So yes. So yes. Oh, to many more. Like we gotta do vacation. Our next.
I know. Yes, definitely. We definitely have to do vacation. And we love vacation.
Yes, I know. And I know
Anytime.
the next time Dianeda come to Charlotte, Dianeda Priscilla come to Charlotte, you got to come. So
there it is. There it is.
Yep. So
anytime that y'all want us to come on to talk about a specific topic, just let us know. We'll definitely, yes, we would definitely come on. And for anyone who want any our services, advice, or whatever, you can just follow us on Marriage Perspectives. You can inbox there, or you could go on to
marriageperspectives@gmail.com. That's our email, marriageperspectives with an S @gmail.com.
Okay, y'all on Instagram and on Facebook?
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes, we're on Facebook. I don't really post too much on Facebook. It's more on Instagram.
Okay.
So yeah.
But you'll see it on our personal page, on my personal page on Facebook.
Okay. Okay. But definitely y'all follow them on Instagram. Reach out to them. They're very approachable. If you have a Dianeda in your life. And a Tarik. So y'all, I mean, together.
Thank you, Jill.
Yeah,
appreciate y'all. Thanks T. I appreciate y'all time. Thank you,
we love y'all. And y'all please share the video. They got some powerful gems they drop. They need to get out there. Please share all that great stuff. Subscribe, follow them. And y'all, we signing off. The shorts stay on because we'll
before you sign off.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. That was one of your tips too. Don't cut your husband off. And
right.
No, I just want to say that look, we appreciate you guys so much. We appreciate you. We wanted to make sure we can bring the best to our audience, and you guys definitely knocked it out the park. So kudos to you guys. Y'all are doing an awesome job for the Lord, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yes, much love, man. Much love.
Much love to you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. Good night, audience. See y'all. Have a good evening.
Good night. Good night.
Bye-bye.